Hey guys, welcome to our 10-minute kick-ass coaching session number 7 at this point in time. I believe it's 7, so bear with me. I have to apologize. I'm actually on my way to meet a colleague of mine that turned me on to the group Restoration Rebels. So if you belong to that group, great organization. Sean Avery, I'll see you in a little bit. Great guy. Also a fellow restoration contractor that lives about an hour away from me, so I'm going to go by and see him shortly. But Sean is really good people, and we get together once a month and kind of mastermind, come up with ideas. He's a very bright guy. Him and his wife both just awesome people. So I love to get together with see successful people and talk to successful people that are actually doing it. That leads me into today's episode. And the reason I'm saying it is it's been a question asked to me, and I'm going to get a little more involved into it. Is a mentor or a coach / consultant important? Well, they're all three different things. A mentor is somebody that kind of gives you advice from here to there. I've been a mentor for probably 15 years, and I've had mentors for easily that time. Even if I didn't know they were mentors at the time, I do know they are now. A mentor is a person that kind of you can call, pick up the phone, say, hey, I'm not sure about this. What do you think? Just as a friendly, usually non-compensated type process, and they can give you some advice based on their experience. And they're vitally, vitally important is to have a mentor in your life. It doesn't make a difference. And a mentor is really good, especially when you're starting out. If you can get somebody that will spend the time with you to work with you and give you an idea, not take up too much time, maybe a few minutes a shot, and just say, hey, what do you think about this? And they're really essential for startup businesses. So that's the role of a mentor. A coach is a little bit different. A coach, I think you have to have your business to at least a little bit of a level where you can afford a coach. Coaches can be a little bit pricey. If a coach is inexpensive, I would be worried about the advice. And if it's that, it's very tough to hire a coach that is inexpensive and think that they actually have the experience and the know-how to advise you. So there's the big difference. A coach will be able to help guide you, won't necessarily tell you what to do, but they will give you ideas and guide you on that path. Go back to the Brady Belichick. I always do. Chicken or the egg, which one will be first? It doesn't make a difference. With Brady and Belichick, it really depends on who would be farther along their career. And I would tell you, if you go back, you see Belichick had major success with the Giants well before, and went to Super Bowls well before it was ever thought of New England. So he's success, epitome of success. Brady would have been success regardless. Would he have been to that level? Absolutely not. There's no way. So a coach in that role was very, very vital to mold and change and position Brady's mentality and skill set, which was incredible, even from the get-go, even when he first left Michigan, to be able to get there. So the role of a coach that actually can do something, a real coach that can really mold you and help from that standpoint, really get you to the next level to really help you build your business and really, take it to a different level. As my friend Chuck Violin says, move from one ship to the other, build a bigger ship. From a rowboat to when you first start, which we've all done, to the yacht, or super yacht rather. So I tried to use that as a little bit of an example the other day too as well, and it was brilliant when I first heard it. It's brilliant now. It doesn't make a difference. Chuck is the man. There's no doubt about that. So that's the difference. A consultant is brought in for project work. I've done a pile of this. A consultant is somebody that says, I've got a project. Our client says, I've got a project. I've got something I need to get done. I need to get from here to here. Can you do this for me, essentially? Lead me from here to here, tell me how to do it, teach my people, train my people, whatever the case is. That's a consultant. Consultant is very temporary, also can be pricey for a reason, because they're giving you real advice. They're coming in there, they're helping you restructure your company, your business, your operation, your marketing, whatever the case it might happen to be. They are in there in the process of doing short-term work. Sometimes it's a little longer, usually it's a couple months. But it can be years. It depends on the organization. I've had one that I worked with for almost a year. So it really depends on the situation. But a consultant role is something that is usually temporary, very temporary, and project driven. Okay. So a mentor, again, excuse me, I'm still getting over my cold, so I apologize. A mentor, again, is somebody that really can help advice from somebody that may be starting and oversees them and says, hey, before I do something really stupid, can I run something by you? Or what do you think? It's usually a couple minutes here and there. That's how I met my partner. My original business partner here in New York was, he started in the forums, internet and online things were very new in 2005. And I had some experience running another company, and I had logistical experience in order to do it. So he would see the posts I put on or the video things at the time, not like they are today, and would say, hey, you in the Poconos, I'm in New York, can you give me some advice? The big thing and I did for years, and then we ended up partnering up. At some point, I ended up selling my business, moving to New York, and coming to originally work with him and then start a business. So it was a pretty good thing. I am not an easy guy that wants to say I'll just sit around and retire and not do anything. I always have to stay active. So we started this thing, and it worked out very well for both of us. That was a mentor. That started as a mentor. Ended up being a business partnership down the road, but that's a mentor. A coach is a person like Brady and Belichick, developing a player, developing a business, and really fine-tuning it, not necessarily telling you what to do, but guiding you and molding you in order the direction you are based on that. And a consultant is temporary project work, for lack of better words. I do less consulting today and more coaching, just because people tend to take me as my experience. That leads us into the part two. And I see my buddy Thomas Chermak is on there. Tom is a superstar trainer, superstar. He's been in a long time, as long as I am, longer probably. Either of us would like to admit, but he's a real experienced action taker. Has done it, has been in the field. So that goes into my second thing. Does it matter if the person that's guiding you in a coach, consultant, even a mentor, have any experience? There's a lot of people that offer coaching and consulting work that offer it and have really not done it, but they have built a successful consulting company. And my opinion would be simple as this. It would be, depends on the advice. If the person is recycling advice from somebody that actually has done it, then probably the advice is logistically good. The advice probably can found you. But if the person hasn't done it, hasn't successfully built anything on their own, doesn't have any real background on what they're talking about, has no track record, I guess is the word I'm looking for, the advice could be limited. I go back to Joe Polish. The most expensive advice is bad advice, and you may be getting some bad advice, you may be getting some good advice. It's a crapshoot. When I was with Stanley Steamer, people would tell me, even after I left, what's the deal with Stanley? You know, some other guys are good, some other guys are not so good, whatever the case. I said, well, it really depends on what you're getting. You can get a guy in there that knows what he's doing, has been doing it for a long time. You get a guy that just graduated from high school a couple weeks ago, and they gave him a wand and said, start cleaning. So it really depends on the situation. Could you get a good job done? Either one may be able to do a good job. I will trust the guy with experience a little bit more than I won't. Just because he has been through it or she has been through it, they can guide you in a situation just like Bill Belichick had, from his background with the Giants, his background with the Jets, his background before he ever became and built that empire in New England. You know, he had a background. So when he came into New England, Robert Kraft wanted him. That was the guy. There's just no question about it. So that was the experience. Personally, I have two coaches. I have two people that mentor me and coach me and have done. Manny's one of them. David is another one. David Newman in one thing, Manny Talavera in another thing. Great guys. Have studied really hard, have learned it, have done it, have mastered it. But I still have mentors. And I see Manny's on there now. So Manny, shout out to you, brother. Manny really, really has spent the time to learn and master the craft. So when you're studying under him, he makes it very, very simple, not complex, and it's heartfelt. When he gives you advice, it's real advice. It's really coming from him, coming from his heart. And I'm the same way. I can't tell you something that I don't know. Do I know how to do certain things? Yeah, I understand how to build a house. I understand the logistical end of it. However, if I build your house, that house is probably going to go like that. I do know how to build a solid foundation. I understand the logistics of that. That's how you build a business. But I am not a carpenter. I am not a contractor. I am not a builder, not a framer. Probably not going to be. But I have the ultimate respect for those that do. And that's, hiring somebody's experience. Do you hire a company to put an addition on your house that just started? Well, they may be very good as long as they have a background in it. But if those guys just graduated from tech school, they may be good, but they may not be experienced enough to find it. And that house might start swaying a little bit. So that's my point. When you get advice based on experience, based on real world knowledge. It can be very expensive if you do not know what you're doing. So I guess to wrap up this whole session of Kick-Ass Coaching, 10-minute Kick-Ass Coaching today with my still semi-weak voice, so my apologies, is a mentor, coach, and a consultant important? Yes, and in varying degrees of what you want to accomplish, what you want to do. If you hire a coach without experience, without real knowledge, the advice isn't going to be necessarily worth that much to me. You pay for what's good. You get what you pay for. It is that simple in the business. And if anybody is giving great advice and is cheap, they won't be doing it for very long because they can't afford to. They'll go out of business quicker than they started, and they're smart enough because they got there in the first place to know that. So they have to charge a premium in order to give that to you, and that's the reason for mentors in the industry. I'm involved in this forum, and this forum is basically an exchange of an idea. I started it for people to exchange ideas and processes. So there's going to be guys on here that know 10 times more than I do, and that's what it's about. Do I have clients that are on here? Yes. Do I have people that come to me and want to hire me for stuff? Certainly. But that's not what this thing is about. This thing is about a collective of information, ideas that you come here with every single day, that you can make opinions about. You can make an opinion about today and write it down and give an opposing question or opposing view or same view, similar view, whatever it is. I respect that. That's what this is about. So come here and put your time in and offer advice and help each other grow their business and go from the mentor standpoint, because that's what we're here to help each other. At the end of the day, we have each other. That's what it comes down to. So spend your time helping somebody else. The law of reciprocity will do the rest. The law of reciprocity, simple as you do for somebody else, they want to do for you, and that has been my whole life. And I do things without thought, without payback, without anything. I don't, and it's always come back to me before I even knew what that was. So just understand that. Thank you very much. You're awesome. I really appreciate your time today. Every day, my commitment to you is to come to you with this. Even if I get it out at 11 o'clock at night, I will certainly get it out to you. Thank you so much for taking today's episode of Kick-Ass Coaching, 10-minute Kick-Ass Coaching. I appreciate your time. Have an awesome day, man.